If you can build a community live, you've got a true one-to-one human connection with a community of people. That's what I love live streams so much. And that to me is what gets me so excited about live stream is I'd rather work with the smaller person who live streams than a bigger person who only has YouTube and TikTok because of the one-to-one interaction and connection with the community. And live stream entertainment just gets added into the funnel of YouTube and TikTok. But what YouTube and TikTokers don't have is this.
Before we dive into the conversation with Darren, we need to start with a quick disclaimer. This video provides general financial education and is not personalized investment advice or solicitation for advisory services. Please consult with a qualified professional for advice tailored for your situation. Any references to specific securities, products, or strategies do not constitute a recommendation or endorsement. All right, let's dive into a conversation with Darren Glover. What excites you most over the next 12 to 24 months whenever it comes to creators, trends that you're seeing?
What excites me the most?
Yeah. There's a lot that's happening right now.
Geez, man, you really want to set me up for this question. You're going to have to take a bathroom break in between. Right now, at this very moment, the two things that I'm thinking about are, and again, I think everyone's thinking about it, but like I'm really, really, really trying to strategically put it into my own life, my creator's life, editing content. Like I'm really trying to use AI, like really, really trying to use it. It's really overwhelming because there's so many services and solutions out there. So I'm really trying to think of AI, which I think helps the output of content. I think that's a big deal right now is creators spending so much time. Bryson's a really great example of, he's not clicks. So like Bryson doesn't have a full-time person working for him to make content. Bryson is one of the many that have to deal with this frustration of, streaming for 4 or 5 hours. And it's like, now your job starts. They have to edit the so how can AI tools help capture it? How can it help edit it, post it? I'm really thinking about that. And it's exciting because I think the higher the volume and the more that you can get from an output perspective, the more it's going to help you understand what's working and what's not. And it's going to give you more at bats because one video is going to get 1,000, the next one's going to get 100,000, next one's going to get 2,000, next one's going to get 2 million.
Will it though?
Oh, you're thinking of,
I want to pose
I know what you're going to say.
Is it going to produce so much content that it just becomes even noisier than it already is? Or do you think that it will just amplify signal? What's your take?
My take is that it doesn't matter how many, the most interesting, and I don't have an answer to it, but it's like, what does followers mean? What does that mean? Like, what does it mean to have somebody follow you? I think we're losing that in where these platforms are headed. And I think it's just like a really macro question to ask that there isn't just like one answer, but like in the world of social media, you and I are friends, so we follow each other. That's not what it means now, but we haven't we haven't re-identified, if that's a word, reclassified what a follower means now. It's kind of like LinkedIn. It's like finally they added a follow button because everybody would just reach out to connect with you instead of and I've been a big proponent the last 3 years to say, stop spam connecting. It's not a follow button. And so finally LinkedIn added just a follow button instead of a connect button, which is huge in the world of like the business side of actually being able to invite somebody into your professional network. But so anyway, I just think a higher volume of content when the follow and the feed becomes less important is going to be the only way to keep up because the funnel is going to continue to go so wide to your point of a extreme level of volume of content. And I don't know how that's going to get repurposed. Maybe it'll go back to followers matter because if I do follow you, I will somehow cut through to see your content more. Maybe I don't know because I've heard and I agree and I've seen people on stage and I've watched that and it's a really interesting concept is to say, if there's it's not true because there's way more, but just for the context of my stupid math brain that I have, if there's 1 million pieces of content that get posted every single day and the algorithm works the way that it does, what happens when there's 100 million pieces of content posted in one day? It's impossible to get 1 million views because there's not the eyeballs aren't keeping up with the volume of content. So the whole funnel has to get redefined. because you can't just add more to the top and then expect the same result on the bottom. So it's like this whole formula, like the formula to me is lopsided, to your point of like, if you 100x the volume of content on the platform, but the same behavior is happening on the opposite end. If we're all still spending 10 minutes on the platform a day and only, 50 new people go on the platform every day or whatever the metrics are, it doesn't help. But I still think you need a higher volume. I always think you need a higher volume of content. I think that's always going to be more valuable to you as a creator, no matter what the middle to the bottom funnel looks like. You'll always want more volume of content to be posted.
There will always be creators that are completely content and happy just going live, interacting with their communities, and leaving it at that.
But that's
and
why
that's
I
okay.
think live streamed entertainment it's having an inflection moment right now, but that's why live content is where you need to be as a creator, because you're not based on an algorithm anymore. It's the only place that I can go and hang out with you as a creator, rather than waiting for you to post your next YouTube content. But YouTube videos don't have good performance because more of their subscribers watched the video. The YouTube algorithm and TikTok algorithm are based on the algorithm of people that are tuning in. Like hitting the bell so you get a notification is one part of it. But to me, if you can have your bottom of your, creator career on a live stream, that's the only true way that I think adds a real defined level of stability. If you can always kind of know that you're going to get 100 to 200 concurrent viewers, that's a sustainable way as a creator to at least know you're going to get this, rather than this, jumping bar. It's impossible to live that way.
I've always taken the other side of that YouTube was the superior platform. And perhaps that's just my own consumer behavior. I don't have time to spend 3-4 hours on a stream in order to be able to experience what happens next in the story. So I watch a lot of the gaming content that I watch is predominantly like crafting based. And to watch 3 or 4 hours of somebody building something, I just can't.
Well, you're also consuming
and so I've always preferred
genre of content that's different. So, which I totally agree with.
True.
So it's based on what style of genre you are. My answer would then 100% change. If that's your genre,
and the type of content as well. I mean, maybe some people want to see how it's done, and then for the creators that want to, they can take that 12-hour stream and put that into some more, I guess, story-driven piece of content that lives on YouTube for people like me to be able to consume. But yeah, I think that is an interesting thing to note, is that the nature of what works well within a live environment is perhaps different than what works well in a YouTube environment.
I don't have an opinion about works well or doesn't work well. I just think from where we're headed, as your first initial question was kind of centered around, I took this as, to me, live streamers have the purest form of community on the internet. That's the purest one-to-one form of true human nature, is 100% on a live streamed piece of content. It's a person right now talking to you, the viewer, right now. That is a one-to-one human interaction and connection, versus passive consumption of posting a video, and that's it. And then people feel like they know you,
some comments,
but it's much more fandom than it is community. So I'm just a big believer in live stream from a community side, is that if you can build a community live, you've got a true one-to-one human connection with a community of people. Not to say that you can't build that on YouTube, but these other platforms, by the nature of the platform, it's passive content. You can watch it whenever you want to, which is fine for your entertainment, but your connection with that human is not a human interaction. It's a fandom of watching somebody entertain you, rather than watching somebody entertain you and being able to respond in real time and then having them react to my comment. Like that's sitting around a table with people. That's what I love live streams so much. And that to me is what gets me so excited about live stream, is I'd rather work with a smaller person who live streams than a bigger person who only has YouTube and TikTok, because of the one-to-one interaction and connection with the community. And live stream entertainment just gets added into the funnel of YouTube and TikTok. But what YouTube and TikTokers don't have is this And even like you see some of the creators right now on
You-
TikTok. I mean, like Josh Richards is a great example. He's not stupid. He live streaming on Twitch. That man is one of the biggest, most famous people on TikTok, and he has 200 to 300 people that watch him concurrently on Twitch. Think about that, right? It's also the transferable nature of community doesn't transfer over very well. You have to really build a community. Someone who has whatever Josh Richards has, 20 million followers on, TikTok and these other platforms, you would think the transferability to another platform would be there. It's not. Live stream entertainment is really difficult. So it's like, once you try it and you see how difficult it is to keep up with the pace and the consistency, and then you see some of these creators who have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 concurrent viewers every time they go live. It's like, holy shit. What?
Yeah. And it's always been that way.
100%.
It's always been challenging.
Whether it was, yes. So
people are so sticky. I mean, I think of my own behavior. Like if I observe myself and my own behavior as if I'm a different person, I really don't want to leave a platform and go somewhere else. If somebody's live streaming on YouTube, then sure, I might pop in for a few minutes, but leaving a platform altogether is tough. There are a couple of creators that I really enjoy their content and they only do live streaming on Twitch. And so in those cases, then sure.
Well, those are the cases that get me so excited about these AI tools is because, and again, I'm making this assumption. I assume that it's not like they don't want to be other places. They just don't have the time. If they're streaming for 10 hours a day, I just don't have the time and effort to do that. And I've kind of set this bar of, I'm okay with this and I'll do my best, but I'm not hopeful and I'm not trying my hardest because I simply don't have the manpower time to do it. That's where I think these AI tools are going to help them tremendously, are the live streamers in their volume of content.
Do you think that hurts them long term if the it factor for those creators is that they're live?
No, because they're not changing what they're doing live. They're only adding more.
So you're just saying that adding to the fandom, keeping the community.
You're finding a new community to the point of Josh Richards has 20 million followers on TikTok with 200 viewers on Twitch. Doesn't transfer over. A lot of the times it's the same way that you can have 1,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch with, 600,000 followers on Twitch, and you have your TikTok account and you're just grinding to get over 5,000 views on a video. Right? Because Twitch is different. Each platform contextually is different. Some platforms, TikTok, people are watching when they're pooping, when they're on the quick bus ride in the side of a car, like whatever it is, like waiting for their plane to take off, whatever. YouTube is more like when you're at home, you're like, everyone's watching in different scenarios and it fosters a different community of people. So like a lot of the times what I always tell Twitch streamers is get onto social, get onto TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube. And then people over here, I'm like, man, if you could find a way to add live streaming into your content funnel, it's such a great one, but you have to have the expectation. And sometimes people aren't willing to swallow that pill that, compresses their ego a little bit, which is, I'm the biggest TikToker YouTuber and I go over to my live stream and I'm not famous anymore. It's like, you can't think of it that way because it's something completely different. But again, I think everyone should explore live stream if you're not doing it. Just like I think every live streamer needs to somehow figure out how to put 3 to 10 pieces of content out on TikTok and Instagram Reel every day from their stream or whatever it might be. It's like, you have to put out so much content. So it's your long-winded answer of what am I thinking about? That's what I'm thinking about because there's so much manpower that's put into editing content. How can these tools help save the creators time so that they can allocate their time into less being the chef and more into building the restaurants? Like that's where I think a lot of these creators are gonna start to blossom, because you see some creators, again, to the point of like the intuition of seeing great creators, their growth is stunted by the sheer lack of time that they have to build their career as a content creator. They're great. They're a raw talent, and you meet them, you see them, you're like, you're great. And that's that frustration as a content creator, is like everyone tells you how good you are, but the platforms and algorithms aren't telling you that. But people tell you that, and your community loves you, but you're just having a difficult time growing those channels. That's really frustrating. And I'm so empathetic. And like, I genuinely think that AI is going to be a big solution to a lot of those frustrations, because you're going to start to break through more. Or if you could just post some more content on those platforms, it's going to help.
It's so tough. And, that's something that I'm optimistic about as well. So I'll just talk selfishly here for a bit. So all day today, I've been editing, literally the entire day up until our conversation. And one of the tools that I'm using is heavily integrated into AI. And YouTube Shorts, or creating short form that I can translate over to Instagram or TikTok, that's been historically something that I very, very much struggle with, because it's like, after I've spent hours editing a video, I don't want to have to spend
Yeah.
more hours trying to edit short form content. And so today I tried a new feature where it would take a video and create some clips. And it did okay. Like, I'm not super proud of some of the shorts that I uploaded today. But it's like, I'm one person. I also have to operate a firm. I also have to work with my clients. Like, there's a lot of things that have to go on outside of just creating content that I deeply empathize with content creators, because it is painfully difficult. And so what I'm hoping is that these platforms get a little bit better at being able to maybe tailor content based on the type of content that works well on different platforms. Obviously, that is a very tough nut to crack, because you're having to essentially put into code something that is very
Yeah.
cultural. But yeah, that is something that
And
I'm
I think
excited about
AI
as
is
well.
going to help with that. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is like the one, we're this past week, we've got Clicks, Mr. Beast, Lacey, Marlon, and Faxity all in a room together. And it's like, what should we do? And then it's like, your first thought is always like, what's trending? What's the trend in culture that is having a spike in that algorithm that we can put together to play into this macro swell that's happening around whatever that
Yeah,
edit, whatever that sound is, whatever those things are. Like, that's how creators are thinking. And I think one of the fun things about live is that you're kind of editing as you go, rather than, how easy it must be as a non-live stream creator to just make the viral piece of content, rather than like, as you're
sure,
live, it's funny to talk with all these live streamers.
easy.
Yeah, no, I'm totally being sarcastic, but
Yeah,
the concept
yeah,
of, as you're live, you're also thinking about, these IRL streamers are making the clip as they're live. They know what works, and the person that's holding the camera knows how to change it, and that can make or break the virality of that clip based on whatever it is. So,
totally.
but to the point of AI is being able to say, like, take my stream and, like, please give me 5 pieces of content that are connected to the top 50 different trending sounds and edits and cut on TikTok right now. Like,
Yeah.
whoa. I mean, that would be,
Or take all of last
yes,
year's videos and compile them all. That would
it
be
would be,
intense.
and it's
But I think
coming.
it's
I mean,
coming.
even to the
I
point,
mean,
like, I don't know,
yeah,
the one that I'm seeing right now is the Will Smith eating, and it was like
yeah,
2023. It was just like, it was like a
yep,
bad nightmare of
man,
a movie that you're watching. And then the,
yeah.
like, most recent one, and like the Google V3 or what, VO3, like,
VO3,
it's,
yeah,
and that's in 2
incredible,
years.
terrifying. Honestly, like, at what point people are already doing it, but they're creating creators that aren't actually
Oh,
real.
it's,
I think that's like, man, it's both exciting and also terrifying
it's
when
already
you get to the
happening
point
though.
whether you don't know what's
Yeah.
real. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's terrifying and exciting at the same time. It's like a whole new, I guess, realm of creativity that can be experienced. But kind of to your point, I think live, like the IRL, uh, the stuff that, hey, how do I prove that this is a real human being that I'm cultivating community with? Man, I think that people are just going to be leaning extremely heavily into that. I mean, I've experienced that for myself over the last, call it 2 years. I've been seeking more things that are IRL, that are outside of my home
Yeah.
or my work environment, to be around people, because man, I'm on this thing forever, every day, or looking at my screen here. And it's like, I crave the community aspect in a way that maybe I didn't 4 or 5 years ago. Now, I don't know if that's something that's changed with me, or if that's something that's just changed with the nature of social, or the way that we consume content. But man, I think even for content creators, trying to figure out ways to make it more personal, to make people aware that, hey, you're a real, for lack of a better word, authentic, raw
Yeah.
human being, um, will be
Well, and
extremely
it
important
also,
in the
a
months
lot
and
of people, I
years.
used to say this all the time. Someone just told me that they've used this line, because I've been saying it for the last 10 years, but the best way to know how influential you are or how famous you are is, again, if you're in gaming, if you're in content, what's coming up in June, VidCon's coming up June 19th to 22nd in LA. If you're a creator that has a little bit of a following, yada, 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 and you've got a community of people, during that weekend, make a post with an address of a coffee shop and say, I'm buying coffee for everyone. I'll be here from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Would love to see you. And see how many people show up. I used to say that to athletes all the time, or just like the athletes are the most pretentious people on planet Earth that think like they're the biggest thing and they're just, everything should be given to them, the red carpet, yada, yada, yada. 99% of those athletes, they could tweet that and nobody would really show up. If you'd have your 10 people that have their cards that they want you to sign your name on it. And like, that's it, because athletes don't have communities, they have fans. And that's that big difference in the creator economy versus the athletic economy, is that these athletes are just, they have fans of themselves. But the classic case of you retire, you get injured, you don't start, you kind of get traded to a different team and a different organization, and you move to a new state and a new city, you get forgotten about because you just kind of get kicked to the curb because there's always somebody else to replace you. And that's this kind of like athlete becoming a content creator. It sounds crazier than what it is, where it's just like, no, athletes just have to build a community. That's all that they're looking to do, because it's only going to help their careers out, so that forever and ever, when they say I'm at a coffee shop buying coffee for the next 2 hours, they know that they're going to get 250 people that are going to show up because they have a community of people that are supporting them as humans. They're not just cheering them on to make more 3-pointers tomorrow night at the game.
If you enjoyed this segment, be sure to check out the full conversation that I had with Darren Glover. I'll leave a link down in the description to the full video. If you like this video, I would genuinely appreciate a like on the video and subscribe to see more content like it. Have a great week. I'll see you in the next video.